Have you ever just stopped and wondered how we take a whole mess of words and sounds and somehow turn them into sentences that actually mean something? Well, it all boils down to just eight fundamental building blocks. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how these tools, the parts of speech, are basically the secret architects of everything we say and write.
I know, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Every book you've ever read, every song lyric, every single conversation, all of it, built from the exact same 8-piece toolkit. So how on earth does that work? What's the secret sauce that lets these simple parts create something so complex? Instead of just reading a bunch of boring definitions, I think we should get our hands dirty. We're going to be language architects. We'll start with nothing, a totally bare foundation, and piece by piece, we're going to build a sentence from the ground up. You'll see exactly how each part of speech does its job. Ready to build? Let's do it.
Okay, so here it is. This is our blueprint. These are the 8 essential tools we're going to be working with. We've got nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Think of this as our complete toolbox. For the sentence we're about to build, we're going to be grabbing these one by one. Every great building needs a solid foundation, right? Well, in the world of sentences, that foundation is always, and I mean always, built with 2 crucial parts, a noun and a verb. You literally can't have a sentence without them. First up, we need a subject. A sentence has to be about someone or something, and that's the job of the noun. It's just a naming word for a person, a place, a thing, even an idea. So for our little project here, let's start with a person. How about a teacher? Perfect. But see, a noun all by itself is, well, it's just a word hanging out. It needs to do something or be something. And that's where the verb comes roaring in. The verb is the engine of the sentence. It provides all the action. All right, so what's our teacher doing? Let's say the teacher writes.
And just like that, boom, we have a complete sentence. I know it's simple, but it's a solid foundation. We've got our noun, teacher, and we've got our verb, writes. We have officially laid the cornerstone. Okay, our sentence is solid, but let's be honest, it's a little bland. It's time to add some personality, right? A little descriptive flair. And for that, we're going to reach into our toolbox for our next 2 tools, adjectives and adverbs.
So, an adjective's whole job is to describe a noun. It answers questions like what kind or which one. So, let's ask, what kind of teacher do we have? Is the teacher funny, tall? Let's give our teacher a nice quality. Let's make them honest.
See that? By plugging in just one simple word, honest, our sentence suddenly paints a clearer picture in our minds. That word modifies the noun, teacher, and just adds a whole new layer of detail. Awesome. Now, what about the action? How does the teacher write? This, my friends, is the job of an adverb. Adverbs tell us how, when, or where something is done. So let's say our teacher writes quickly. And there we have it. The word quickly modifies the verb writes, and it tells us more about the action itself. See how our sentence is getting richer and more interesting with every single piece we add? Okay, this is a spot where a lot of people get tangled up, but the difference is actually super simple. Just remember this. Adjectives describe the noun, the honest teacher. Adverbs describe the verb, writes quickly. If you can nail that difference, you are way ahead of the game. So, our sentence is looking pretty good. It's got a subject, an action, and some nice details. But now it's time to give it more context, to connect it to other ideas. We need the glue and the bridges of language, prepositions and conjunctions. Prepositions might be little words, but man, are they powerful. They show relationships, usually about location, time, or direction. They tell us where or when the action is happening. So let's get specific. Where is our teacher writing? Let's connect the action to a place by adding on the book. And now our sentence has a physical space to exist in. That little preposition on connects the action of writing to the location, the book. It just creates a much more vivid image for us, doesn't it? Now, the other key connector is the conjunction. This is the ultimate team builder of words. So check this out. You've got 2 simple, separate ideas. The teacher writes, and the student listens. A conjunction, like and, lets us join them together into one single, more complex sentence. It's that simple. All right, we are in the home stretch now. Our sentence is almost complete.
It's time for the final touches, the little things that add some efficiency and, a burst of human emotion. Let's bring in our last two tools, pronouns and interjections. Think about it. Saying the honest teacher over and over again would get pretty clumsy, right? Well, that's where pronouns come in. They're basically shortcuts. A pronoun replaces a noun, so our writing sounds smoother. So instead of the teacher, we can just say he. See, the meaning is exactly the same, but the sentence it flows so much better, doesn't it? That's the magic of pronouns. They make our writing sound more elegant and a lot less repetitive. And finally, let's add a spark of life. An interjection is a word that just throws in a sudden burst of emotion. These guys don't really play by the normal grammar rules. They're not really connected to the sentence. They're just pure feeling. And there it is, our finished product. How cool is that? We started with just the teacher writes, and by carefully adding 6 more parts of speech, we've built a sentence that has detail, context, efficiency, and real emotion. Wow, he writes quickly on the book. Okay, so you've seen how all the tools in the toolbox work together to build a sentence right from scratch. Now it's your turn. Let's do a quick pop quiz and see if you can spot these tools out in the wild. All right, take a look at this one. The sentence is, she runs quickly. I want you to focus on that word, quickly. What is its job in this sentence? What question does it answer about the action? Go on, take a second to think about it. If you said adverb, you absolutely nailed it. Quickly is telling us how she runs. It's describing the verb, so it has to be an adverb. Awesome job. So there you have it. We've seen how just 8 simple parts of speech are the building blocks for every single idea we could ever want to express. They're not just a bunch of dry grammar rules to memorize. They're tools of creation. You now have the blueprint and you have the tools. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?